Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of APAC Dialogue. We have with us today Mrs. Shailesh from Zoho ManageEngine, and he will talk about the recent Future of Work survey that ManageEngine has conducted globally, and he will give us a perspective on how Zoho ManageEngine is looking at their future offerings. So I'd request Shailesh to give a brief introduction about himself, then talk us a little bit about what the survey was all about and the demographics of the survey and what were the salient highlights. Over to you, Shailesh.
Yeah. Thank you, Rajneesh. Thanks for having me here. I'm Shailesh Davey, the engineering head and co-founder at ManageEngine. My responsibilities, amongst other things, include three main Ds: data, data center, and database. That's in short on what I do. And coming to this particular survey, so we had carried out this survey from ManageEngine from starting from the month of July, August, all around the world. We had talked to about 3,300 organizations about IT and work 2022 and beyond. And in India, we had talked to close to 300 organizations, and we had collated their inputs, and we have come up with some insights. And if you look at the insights, they were majorly into four categories. One was the democratization of IT, second was the empowerment of IT, third is some future technologies, and fourth one is how the workforce would be now and how is it going in the future. So these are the four main aspects of the study.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on the democratization of IT and empowerment of IT, and especially in the Indian context, since 300 organizations were Indian, uh, what they meant, and especially after 2 years of the whole work environment getting changed during the pandemic times? So, what do they mean?
So first, if you look at democratization of IT, so this word actually means the IT skills and technologies pervading from the IT organization into the other departments of an organization. Similarly, some of the decision making, which was originally within the purview of the IT, now percolates, and various departmental heads are also having a big say in the IT decision making. For example, the sales head might have a very specific opinion on what Salesforce automation tool to use, what CRM tool to use, what customer support software to use. Same would be the case with marketing teams. If you go back 10 years, the CIO would make the decision. Now, the respective departmental heads, along with the CIO, are involved in the decision making. Similarly, the technology and skills, which was within the purview of the IT, actually was percolated to other teams. This is the democratization of IT. One thing we have found based on the survey in India, talking to about 300 mid and large size organizations, talking to people who are managers or above, all the way up to C levels. Two interesting findings we have found about democratization is it's happening a lot in India, and a very big percentage felt that there's a lot more collaboration between the IT team and all the other teams. And this is very important, and it's a very good sign because, especially during the pandemic and post the pandemic, there is a new work culture where customers are all going digital first, employees are all going hybrid first. Now, in this scenario, uh, digital solutions become very important. IT, along with the respective departments within the organization, maybe customer facing departments or departments giving service to employees. So, IT will have to work with all this and ensure that this new mode of work gets satisfied using these digital solutions.
Great. And maybe on the empowerment part, if you can touch a bit.
Yeah. So empowerment of IT is the mirror image of democratization. So basically, it talks about IT moving from back office to the front office. If you look at it, IT is generally considered as a team that will keep the lights on, ensure the network, server, application is on. But actually, if you look at it, every business nowadays is a digital business. That means more and more, lots of this comes within the purview of the IT team, not on a day to day basis, but from a strategy basis. So if the IT team or the IT representative like CIO or the senior manager is having a say on major strategic decisions, and they have a seat in the board, or the CEO or the other board members are willing to listen to them, then the path that the organization takes actually could change, because every business is becoming digital. These directions are important, and it's important that the IT is able to express it, and the other decision makers at a very high level in the organization are able to absorb it. So this is called the empowerment of IT, where IT moves from being back office to front office, where IT is able to tie its numbers to the business numbers, where IT is able to have a say in the board and have a say in the strategy of the company itself. And if you look at it from the survey angle, lot of people feel that yes, it is important to have empowerment of IT, because all the senior members in the organization realize the importance of IT, especially if you take something like retail, healthcare, education, any vertical you take. Especially during the pandemic, everything now has a digital twin. So by that I mean, if you take retail, what was typically a brick and mortar company now would have a website to sell goods. Now it could have an Instagram channel, or it could have a D2C brand, D2C app. Similarly, if you go to education, over and above the centers, now you also have a digital equivalent. So in everything, every of this business, the previous mode has changed to a hybrid mode or digital only mode. Now, in these scenarios, it's important that the organizations are able to navigate this new environment, and IT, if empowered, would have a very big impact on the profitability of the organization. So, what we have found in the survey is everybody feels yes, it is needed, IT will have to have the say. So, there is an overall agreement. That is the good aspect. And the other aspect for improvement is only a less than 40% or so feel that actually IT can say a no based on technical or security reasons. So, in one sense, it from the IT team, it looks like security is paramount, but businesses will have to run, businesses will have to make profits. So, in that context, without compromising on security, these new paths will have to be found, and that's when IT having a presence at a senior level and explaining in a way that other members in the board are able to take it will be very important going forward.
Great. So taking that further, when you're mentioning about the digital twins and so the ITDMs, obviously they lead the deployment. What about the BDMs in terms of accepting one deploying and accepting the new gen technologies, the different aspects of security or AI ML and those kind of next gen technologies? How are the BDMs accepting them? How are they becoming mainstream in the organizations?
So, actually, the BDMs do realize that the world has changed in the last 2 years, and lots of them realize that having a digital channel in whatever be their vertical is very important. The digital channel is not only for, it may not be only for selling goods or something, it could be even for listening to your customers, reaching out to the organization. Typically, a customer would reach out to the organization in multiple ways. It could be via email, it could be via WhatsApp, it could be via chat, or it could be via video. So all these different mediums, the organization should be able to have them come in and reply to them. Same with the employees. If the employee is going and working in a hybrid mode, they also interface digitally with the enterprise. For example, to find out what are all the different services that are offered within, like where is a whom to contact for HR, whom to contact for legal, or how to collaborate with colleagues, how to ensure that the project is on track. For all this, again, you need digital solutions. So the BDM realizes that the importance of digital solutions and IT has actually increased, both from a customer perspective as well as from an employee perspective. So there's a lot of welcoming for this, for these digital role. But if some of the decisions are delayed due to technical or security reasons, they feel that the BDMs feel that business should take an upper hand on this. I think this is a step in the right direction, but I'm sure going forward, as I say, it will take two to tango, right? So both the ITDMs and the BDMs understanding the need to go forward will ensure that they go hand in hand, is what we feel.
Thanks. Now, looking at the survey at more a wider perspective of Zoho ManageEngine, so if you can give us an update on the portfolio of solutions and services that ManageEngine is currently offering, and how does it survey fit in there exactly?
So one of the important things as when employees go hybrid is to ensure that the services that they were originally getting from the organization continue to be given. So what I mean by that is, when an employee was working within the building, they could easily go and talk to the HR, talk to the legal, talk to the marketing, talk to the support folks, get their work done. But now they're all sitting remotely, or they're working in a hybrid mode. That means all these services needs to be easily available to them, and they should be able to interact with their colleagues in a very frictionless and seamless way. That's when things like enterprise service manager comes in, where all the services that are offered, so that the employee can be productive to help the customer, all these are listed in a single dashboard. Now, Manage Engine has been working on having an enterprise service manager as a part of that Manage Engine Service Desk Plus, and this has got a very good uh, adoption in the market. Similarly, one of the big outputs from this survey was the focus on IT security. Now, that's not surprising, because as and when people go digital, the most important thing that follows immediately is IT security. So, Engine has been offering solutions in identity and access management, endpoint management, ransomware management, phishing management, and apart from this, we are coming up with new solutions like zero trust network and identity architecture. So, all this, including privilege access management, like this, we have multiple solutions in Manage Engine addressing the various needs of IT security. And IT security came out as the paramount focus area for both ITDMs and BDMs going forward. And I'm happy to state that IT security has been a very big focus area for Manage Engine, especially applying AIML techniques in IT security has been our focus for the past couple of years.
Can you just briefly give us an idea about the demographic profile of the people organization surveyed, especially in India? Uh, so that would help the viewers more, maybe.
So the minimum size of the organization that we had chosen was having like more than 1,000 plus employees. So it went all the way from 1,000 plus to 3,000 plus to 5,000 plus. And amongst the 300 organizations, we had equal distribution amongst these three categories. And if you were to look at the people who were approached for this survey within these 300 organizations, they were typically BDMs or ITDMs, so they were decision makers. So the typical profile they would match to would be manager all the way up to the CXO level. So this has been the profile for this survey.
Okay. And lastly, I would like to understand one for the next maybe 5 to 6 quarters, maybe 1 to 1.5 years. What are the trends in the future of work that you foresee, especially coming out of the survey, and how would you predict those trends? And accordingly, what would be, from a manage engine perspective, your key focus areas which will address those changes?
So uh, the important thing that came out from the survey was IT democratization is getting along well within the Indian organization. So that would mean a lot of skills, IT skills available within the various departments, within the various non-IT departments, be it marketing, sales, HR, finance. So there is this concept of citizen developers, where members of the respective departments take up problems on their own and come up with a solution. So each of these members, instead of just being technology consumers, they become technology innovators. And towards this, things like low code, no code, AIML play a very important part. And we are happy to say that ManEngine has tools in this section. And similarly, second thing was IT security, which I had elaborated previously. And I would say, especially in India, there is a lot of push from the government for digital adoption, and we have lots of tools which can ensure that the IT organization keeps the lights on. That's very important in terms of empowerment of IT, in terms of IT democratization. Even though these trends are there, there are some basic expectations on the IT which need to be fulfilled. And keeping lights on is a no-brainer, and it has to be always on. So we have a lot of tools in IT operations, IT service management, IT security, IT analytics, addressing the various needs of the IT team in line even with our survey.
Okay, I'll conclude just one part. I mean, looking at beyond lights on, when some of these future work trends are happening, there are issues regarding a lot of compliances or governance issues, which were in tune maybe with what was in the pre-COVID times, the way work used to be. So, how did this, and even in some cases with the organizations and their customers, the way the SLAs used to be defined also. So, how have all these issues, I'd say, got changed, and how have the organizations adopted?
So one of the biggest trends nowadays we see is about data privacy, right? So actually, now every organization has a chief data officer, chief privacy officer, and then security officer. So what was one role before has evolved into three different roles, and they carry a lot of weightage in them. Weightage means impact. I mean, so they have a lot of impact in the way the organizations are evolving. So that's one important thing. And second is, even though democratization of IT has happened, the compliance, the security, the governance, the conformance to the overall architecture, these are all these are all duties, or I would say necessities, that still remain within the purview of the IT team. So democratization enables to have citizen developers. Democratization enables to have IT skills and knowledge amongst a lot of non-IT departments. But the compliance, security, and governance, because that's very important, especially in the context of data residency, data privacy, data security, this still remain within the IT team, and the IT team will have to have the right tools and process, and also buy-in from the various other teams to implement these.